to a student, there are some who serve in glory. There are some who serve in silence. But before the heart of heaven, service well done is one of our cherished possessions. God bless you. Saint Germain, April 17, 1954. Application: the heart of the Ascended Master teaching in action. The great opportunity of application. There has never been a time in Earth history when so much light, so much assistance, and such direct knowledge of the law has been given to mankind. The Ascended Master Saint Germain did not bring forth the I Am teaching as a philosophy to be admired or discussed. He brought it as a means of action, a practical, usable law through which mankind could consciously cooperate with life, restore balance, and fulfill the divine plan. This was not merely a new teaching, it was a response to a cosmic crisis. At a critical moment, when the earth itself was not emitting sufficient light to be sustained, a dispensation was secured to give mankind one final opportunity to add light to the planet through conscious use of energy. The teaching was released, the knowledge was given, the presence was revealed. But all of it hinged on one thing: whether mankind would apply it. Application is not an accessory to the teaching, it is its very purpose. Without it, the teaching remains dormant. With it, the individual becomes a conscious contributor to the salvation of the earth and the fulfillment of his own divine destiny. What is application? Application is the conscious use of life. It is the deliberate direction of the energy flowing through the individual, through thought, feeling, word, and visualization, toward a constructive, God-directed end. Every individual is constantly requalifying energy, but the student of this teaching learns to do so knowingly, rhythmically, and with authority. The law is simple. Energy becomes power through qualification. Application is the act of that qualification. It is not enough to understand truth intellectually. The outer mind, as the Masters explain, is constantly receiving impressions, truth, half-truth, and discord alike. And without conscious direction, the energy of the individual will be shaped by outer conditions rather than their inner God presence. Application reverses this process. It places the individual back in command of his world. Through application, the student begins to call forth actions from the higher realms, govern thought and feeling, direct that energy into form, transmute discordant accumulations. This is the science of mastery. How application differs from what came before. In previous ages, spiritual progress was largely slow, indirect, and often dependent upon cycles of purification, devotion, or mystical attainment. While these paths served their purpose, they did not place the conscious control of energy directly into the hands of the individual. With the coming of this teaching, that changed. The occult methods of the past were set aside, and in their place was given a direct, dynamic, and accelerated use of the law. The student is no longer required to wait upon spiritual unfoldment through long experiences alone. He is taught how to invoke, direct, and expand light consciously. This is why the Masters state that more was accomplished for the earth in a few short years of applied knowledge than had been achieved in ages prior. The difference is simple but profound. Before, mankind sought God. Now, mankind is taught to call God into action through the knowledge that God is within us and therefore be a co-creator with God. Application is the conscious use of life's energy, but its effectiveness depends entirely upon balance. The Masters have shown that all true spiritual progress rests upon the harmonious use of two fundamental powers, invocation and receptivity. This balance is revealed in the teaching of the scepter and the crown. The crown and the scepter, the balance of application. The Ascended Master Saint Germain reveals that all effective application depends upon the balance of two powers. I would like to show you the balance between the scepter and the crown, which must be comprehended and understood in order to balance your invocative powers with the expansion of your consciousness. The scepter is the power of invocation, the decree, the call, the directed use of energy. The priests knew how, through decrees, to make the call to lower these energies. The crown is the power of receptivity, the ability to receive divine direction and illumination. The priestess was able to receive the directed energy from whatever divine being was rendering service. When these two act together, by the combination of these two activities, mankind was well balanced and well trained. Application, then, is fulfilled only when invocation is balanced by receptivity. The warning is equally clear. There was an unbalance. The receptive consciousness was neglected. Thus, every true act of application must contain both the call of the scepter and the listening of the crown. Only when the scepter and the crown act together does application fulfill its purpose. From this balanced activity flows the two great avenues of service, the mastery of one's own world and the conscious blessing of all life. The two pillars of application. Application unfolds in two distinct yet inseparable ways, the personal and the impersonal. One builds the foundation, the other fulfills the purpose. Personal application. Personal application is the daily discipline by which the student brings his or her own world into harmony and starts to be useful to the Ascended Host. It is here that the teachings become real, tested in thought, feeling, and the conditions of everyday life. The student begins by turning his attention to his own I Am Presence, recognizing it as the source of all life, all intelligence, and all power within him. From this recognition comes the call, spoken, felt, and directed with intention. Decreeing becomes the primary tool of this application. It is not merely recitation, but command. It is the conscious release of energy qualified by the authority of the presence and directed toward a specific purpose. Each decree, when given with attention and feeling, sends forth a current of energy that must act according to the qualification given to it. Yet the student quickly learns that words alone are not sufficient. The feeling behind the decree determines its power. The Masters emphasize that tremendous results follow invocation, even when the outer mind has no awareness of them. This is where faith must develop, not blind belief, but confidence born of repeated application and eventually visible results. Alongside decreeing comes contemplation and meditation, the quiet, receptive phase of application. In contemplation, the student withdraws attention from outer activity and becomes still, allowing the presence to impress its peace, clarity, and direction upon the consciousness. The Mahachohan points to contemplation of divine qualities, particularly love, as a key to transformation. Thus, personal application becomes a rhythm. The student calls forth light, then becomes still enough to receive it, then acts again with greater clarity and strength to divinely direct it through the power of the I Am presence within. Over time, this builds momentum. The individual begins to feel a greater sense of control, a deeper peace, and an increasing certainty that law is real, exact, and active. This is the beginning of mastery. Tips for success with personal decrees. 1. Stand firm and face a chart of the I Am presence. 2. The rhythm of decrees should be at a good pace. Remember that you are talking to intelligence. 3. Try to visualize and feel what you are decreeing for already manifest, or keep your eyes on the chart of the I Am presence. Examples of personal decrees. Recommended at least 3 times a day. Call for the intensification of the protective pillar of light. Beloved Magic I Am presence, intensify your protective pillar of pure substance of light in, through, and around me, charged with your invincible protection, all-powerful and impenetrable, which keeps me absolutely insulated to everything not of the light, and keep it sustained. Make and keep me ever sensitive to you and your direction, and immune to all imperfect vibratory rates. I am invisible. I am invincible. I am invulnerable to anything less than your almighty perfection. Calling for extra protection around your protective pillar. My Magic I Am presence, and beloved Lord Gautama and Archangel Michael, surround my protective pillar of light with your circle of blue flame, and give me whatever added protection is required. I thank you. What I call for myself, I call for my loved ones, and all that is constructive through and around the earth. Calling on the law of forgiveness before the violet transmuting flame. I am, I am, I am, the law of forgiveness for myself and all mankind, for all mistakes, misqualified energy, human consciousness, and for straying from the light. Repeat 7 or 21 times. Pause in silence to feel gratitude for this great gift of the law of forgiveness. Calling for the violet transmuting flame. Magic I Am presence, blaze through and around me the transmuting violet flame, thy sacred fire. Purify and transmute now all impure desires, hard feelings, wrong concepts, imperfect etheric records, cause, effects, and memories, known or hidden. Keep this flame sustained and all-powerfully active. Replace all by pure substance, power of accomplishment, and the divine plan fulfilled. Call on divine love be added to the violet flame for more intensified power. Beloved Lord Gautama, Archangel Michael, Lady Nada, and Ascended Master Jesus, charge into this violet flame your purifying, dissolving power of divine love in its most powerful dynamic activity. How to decree effectively. The manner of decreeing is as important as the words themselves. A decree should be given with attention firmly fixed on the I Am Presence, feeling that the action is already accomplished, rhythm rather than strain or force, certainty without doubt or questioning. The Master's caution against extremes: neither mechanical repetition nor strained intensity produces the desired result. Instead, the student is encouraged to decree with a steady, poised authority, allowing the energy to flow naturally and powerfully. It is also important to understand that results are not always immediately visible. The outer mind often does not perceive the action of the law as it takes place in the inner bodies and unseen realms. Yet the teaching assures that every sincere call produces a response, and that application, rightly made, cannot fail. To continue applying without outer confirmation is one of the great disciplines and one of the great victories. Impersonal application. As the students gain balance and strength through personal application, the next step unfolds naturally: the expansion of service beyond the personal self. Impersonal application is the conscious use of energy for the blessing of all life. This is not merely an ideal, it is a requirement for progress. The Masters make it clear that no one can be forced into service to an impersonal cause, but those who accept it greatly accelerate their own evolution. In this phase, the student begins to understand that the energy flowing through him is not his own to use selfishly, but a sacred trust to be returned to life, expanded, and qualified with good. Group decree work becomes especially powerful in this regard. When individuals unite in purpose and attention, their combined energies form a force field through which far greater light can be released, as this is the energy that the ascended hosts use to fulfill our decrees. The teaching describes each participant as contributing energy to the flame, expanding its reach and effectiveness. Through such activity, students assist in transmuting discord in the world, strengthening, expanding, and anchoring the light of the planet, cooperating with the Ascended Masters and the spiritual hierarchy. But impersonal application is not limited to formal group work. It extends into daily life. Every time the student blesses instead of criticizes, sends love instead of reacting, falls light into a condition rather than accepting its appearance, he is performing impersonal service. This is the transformation from student to servant. Tips for success with impersonal decrees. One voice. 1. The group leader will lead the group in saying the decrees. 2. Try your best to become one voice with the group leader. 3. Stand and face the chart of the I Am Presence. 4. Mix in songs to be sung between the decrees. 2 to 3 songs per session should work. Before the group decree session starts, 1. Contemplative music can be played. 2. The students should realize that their energies should be directed toward God, the I Am Presence, the Ascended Masters, and divine beings, and feelings of gratitude open the door to a return of their love for us. 3. Students should have an attitude of joyful expectation and be willing to offer their energy and the momentum of their live streams to the current service conducted. Examples of impersonal decrees. Keep the group decree time to about 30 to 45 minutes at the most. Say together, led by the group leader. Mighty I am presence, great host of ascended masters, archangels, Elohim, cosmic being, and great cosmic light. Come forth now in all your cosmic power. Take command and produce your perfection. Beloved, mighty, victorious I am presence, Archangel Michael, angels of blue flame, and beloved Lady Astrea, lock your cosmic circle and sword of blue flame with your limitless power in, through, and around all misqualified energy around me and all mankind, and all destructive forces in, through, and around our entire planet. Seize and render this energy ineffective. Seize and render this energy ineffective. Seize and render this energy ineffective. Transmute it all. Cause, core, effect, record, and memory. Illumine the source and see that this energy never acts again, and replace all with ascended master consciousness. Why application is essential? The teaching does not leave room for passivity. It is clearly stated that individuals who received great light but failed to apply it allowed their own accumulated discord to manifest, bringing limitation into their experience. This is not punishment. It is law. Energy must be used. Yet it is not consciously directed. It will be shaped by habit, environment, and the mass consciousness. Application is therefore not only the means of progress, it is means of divine protection, transmutation, and a victory of the light over all human miscreation. It keeps the individual aligned with their I Am Presence, transmuting and dissolving accumulated discord, etheric scars, and preventing further misqualification of energy. The path of progress through application. As the student continues, a pattern emerges. At first, application may feel uncertain. The mind questions, the feelings fluctuate, and the results seem distant. But with persistence, something begins to change. There is a growing sense of inner strength. A quiet confidence develops. The student begins to know, not intellectually, but through experience, that the presence responds. This is the building of momentum. The masters encourage the student to continue, regardless of outer appearance, with the understanding that the law is always acting. They remind us that the flower does not question its growth. It simply absorbs the radiation and unfolds. So too does the student unfold through sustained application. The call of the masters. The ascended masters are not asking mankind to withdraw from life. They are asking mankind to transform life through the conscious use of energy. They ask the student to apply the law, to call daily, to use it, to test it, and to prove it through experience. Each sincere call builds momentum. Each application increases power. Each victory, no matter how small, establishes greater mastery. Nothing is lost. Every right effort is accumulated. Every call is answered. Every step forward is permanent. As this continues, the presence is no longer a concept. It becomes a living reality, felt, known, and trusted. And as that reality grows, the path is no longer uncertain. It becomes clear, direct, and inevitable. The goal of life is freedom, complete mastery over energy and vibration, culminating in the ascension. This is not reserved for a few. It is the destiny of all, and it is achieved through application. Application is the bridge between knowledge and power. It is the means by which light is expanded and life is redeemed. Through it, discord is transmuted. Through it, the individual becomes a conscious director of energy. Through it, the present is brought into action. And through continued use, the student becomes a radiating center of light, a conscious co-worker with the ascended masters, and a blessing to all life. The opportunity stands before every student now to call to the I Am Presence, to direct energy consciously, to expand light in the earth and its inhabitants, to fulfill the divine plan, and through that application, to rise into freedom, to enter the fullness of the light, and to attain the victory of all life, the ascension.